Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I just thought it might be cool to go live and show you what I'm doing this morning. This is um, had a late night last night, pre-workout. It's MLK Day, so I'm not teaching today. Um, I got this book that I've had in my um, catalog for a long time. How to write songs on keyboards. It seems like a cool book um, for a guy like me who's not a keyboard player. Um, I say it all the time. I don't play keyboards or piano, but I know how it works. And so my methodology for this book. Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. My methodology for this book is the same as I would is the same that I would use for uh, a bass book or some bass whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry, I'm just waking up. I got my coffee here. So how to write songs on keyboard. Anyway, put this book on the stand, and I look at the book. I'm not gonna. It's a very wordy. It's a very wordy book, but I'm not gonna read the book like that. Because I know that some of this stuff is, there's a lot of diagrams and stuff. And can you guys hear the keyboard? Um, so I'm sorry, I won't look at you. I'll just kind of talk out what I'm doing here. Looking at these, just the basic stuff, and I'm just gonna basically just kind of plop through and read through. And when I get to a point that is a challenge, that's where I stop the page, and that's where I say, okay, that's where the work begins. Let me see what I know. Let me see what I know first, right? And then I stop where the work begins. So right now, this book is talking about white keys and just triads, major and minor triads, all the minor triads on the keyboard. And interestingly enough, if you were on the live yesterday, he's talking about the musical alphabet, A through G, and the white keys. Like, it starts there, right? So all your minors. Um, and only one hand, right? It's a songwriting book, basically. So, again, as a bass player, I'm tackling I'm tackling what's relevant to what I want, right? Like I want to write better songs on keyboard from keyboard perspective, right? So I'm not tackling Tchaikovsky or Bach or Beethoven or anything like that. I'm not even thinking about those things. That's one of the things that I kind of warn about with bass players is like if you're gonna play bass at your church and your church only plays CCM, but you want to practice all the John P. Key stuff and all the hardcore gospel stuff, but you're never in that environment. Well, you're only setting yourself up for frustration because you're never really gonna be good at that. Never, and that's guys that play in church. I'm getting off. I'm rambling and not practicing, but guys that play in church, that's a culture thing. It's a culture thing. It's not a trend thing. It's more often that it's becoming more of a trend thing. But drummers that you see that play in church, if you check their history, they've been playing in church since they were yay big. Same with bass players. They be playing in church since they was yay big. You look at some of these dope gospel musicians, and you'll find that they've been steeped in the church their whole lives. Daddies are pastors. mama was the organist. You know what I mean? Like, it's nurture, right? So that's something to consider. C major first inversion. Also, I will call, when I see it, I name it, right? I see it, I name it. That, for me, I don't know if this works for you, but for me, if I see it and I name it, C major root position, C major first inversion, C major second inversion. If I see it, I say it, it gets locked in here. F major root position, D minor over F. What does he got here? G major, no, this is an E minor over G. A minor root position, D minor over A, C over G. The cool thing about the piano is that it's just patterns. It doesn't matter how long the piano is. Right? This is a bass player talking about a piano keyboard. The patterns just continue, right? And if you look at, you got two black keys, two black keys. Shelton, you send me an email at sonofabass@gmail.com, sonofabass@gmail.com, or DM me on Instagram at sonofabass, okay? So, oh, you live in New Orleans. Okay, cool. Cool. Email me at sonofabass@gmail.com. Okay. So I'm going to turn the page. And right now, I'm just getting into this book. So I just look at the book. I see what do I know so far. So far, all of this is pretty, you know, accessible to me. C minor over E flat. Talking about minor inversions. F minor root position. G minor root position. C minor over G. G minor over D. C minor root position. I'm also not trying to make music out of this. It's out of context. I'm not trying to make licks or songs right now. I'm just auditing the book. Start from a second inversion. And if I can get, so let's see, I could get pretty far in this book just looking at it, but it's not going to hurt me to just look at it and see where the pitfalls might be. C major over G. Ooh, so now he's talking about Chris Severin. Chris Severin is the guy. Yeah, Chris is always busy. I met Chris through Zigaboo. Chris is the guy. He teaches over at Noka. Yeah, Chris is the dude. So now, this part of the book, we're talking about technique. Talking about starting from second inversion. Now we're starting to hear some music happening. You can also work out easy, effective hand movements if you start a progression on a second inversion shape. This is interesting to me. You can also work out easy, effective hand movements if you start a progression on a second inversion shape. Second inversion meaning that the fifth is the lowest note, right? This example links together C, F, and G with A minor, D minor, E minor to make an 8-bar phrase suitable for any part of a song. Notice how the thumb stays on the same note going from C over G to G, and how the thumb moves when going from F to A minor over E. This type of thing intrigues me because it's the same thing on bass. Last night I was teaching a lesson before I got on a live stream, and one of the students asked me what was the best fingering for a arpeggio, and my response is there is no best. There's more efficient than not. Then there's the music will dictate whether what's the best shape to use during that time. So let's see. We have C over G to G. Ooh, that's cool. That's cool. I like that. And then F goes right down. C over G. G. F. A minor over E. D minor over F. E minor. Well, I played an A minor. I didn't mean to. But just by that mistake there, hello from Dubai, hello from New Orleans. So even right there, even again as bass players, even there, this is a C major over G, but moving one finger turns that into an A minor. Just by doing that, you start to see how notes work together and how it can. What's up, Bert? How it can influence what you play influences the chord. Okay, start major and move downward. Right. So again, if you're just joining in, great to have you. So again, like if you're just joining, I'm just digging into this book that I have not. I've had this book a long time, but I've never really given it the attention that it may or may not deserve. But I just sit the book here on the stand, take a few minutes. Normally, if I were by myself, I wasn't with you guys. I'm actually running late to my workout here. I work out in my yard, but I should have been doing that a while ago. I start at the beginning, just play through, see what's relevant to what I want to do. When things start getting difficult, or when I have to stop and say, what's that? That's where the work begins. I don't practice the shit in the middle, in the beginning, right? Right now, I'm just auditing. I don't play the stuff. Once I'm done with that, I don't go back to that, right? I got to play, practice where it's hard. So let's see. These are still talking about one hand. So C, G over B, F over A, G over B. I keep saying it, even if it is simple, I say it. I name it. When I play it, I see it, I name it. So now every time I sit down to a piano, if I see that chord on a sheet, it doesn't trip me up. If someone calls it, it doesn't trip me up. If I have to explain it to someone or something like that, it's more ingrained. So C, G. Oh, I see what he's trying to do here. He's trying to show how, like, these inversions and voice leading practices. Start with a minor and move downward. Start with a minor. So C, E minor over B, D minor over A minor, E minor over G, D minor over F. Okay. I can, you know, if I what am I missing here? Win the morning, win the day. You are correct. I'm usually up pretty early, regardless of what's going on. So let's turn the page. Okay, summary of hand positions. Playing a 2 octave. Ooh, look at this. Playing a C major triad over now. Okay, so now we're at a part where I would be like, okay, let me put a little bit more thought into what I'm doing. Let me break out of my novice bass player way of doing things. A lot of times I play simple block chords, you know, and inversions in the right hand, and I'll fake it with octaves in the left hand. But now he's talking about splitting the triads between 2 hands. You know, like playing the root and the bass, getting these wider chords. That's still a triad. 1, 5, 3. So here's the triad. Okay. You know, when I was in college, the piano teacher we had she was cool. She was a very, very nice lady. But the stuff we worked on there was so not applicable to anything any one of us would ever do. We all worked from this Alfred's Piano Method book. Some of you guys have probably seen that book. It's a book for kids and little old ladies, man. But it was like busy work, you know? It was like busy work. So, C major. Root 5, third, root third, 5th, 3, 5, 1, you know, you're talking about early in the morning. That dinging is my family email, my family text message chat. It's my cousin's birthday, so 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 3, beyond 3 fingers. All right, this will be the last one I hit, and then I'm gonna go work out. But what would you guys think? Okay, Shelton, I'll check that today. What do you guys think about I can't do it every morning because then that really kind of cuts into my actual practice time. But I'm thinking about doing live stream practice sessions. I think on YouTube, social media, period, everybody gets to see what happens after. You know what I mean? And you're kind of left trying to put the pieces together about what comes before all that. Let's see. There are other shapes that will make your chords sound fuller if you use both hands. So far, you have only used your right hand and 3 notes at a time. If we bring in the left, what if we bring in the left to do something simple? Let's take the C major triad we started with and review options for a fuller sound. The abbreviation is left hand, right hand, R for left, blah, 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 blah. Option 1, left hand root note, right hand root triad. Okay, that's what I usually play. That's what I usually play. C major. Option 2, first inversion. Option 3, second inversion. So that's 1, left hand C, triad and root position. Option 2, triad and first inversion. Option 3 is root left hand, triad and second inversion. Option 4 is what I do most of the time. Is I play root in the left hand and the triad on top. So second inversion. No. And then he's playing root fifth, root fifth, root fifth, root fifth, root fifth. So you see, I'm not here playing the fancy church chords and all that stuff, right? I'm not playing the big extended jazz voicings and all that. Playing triads, the simplest thing. There was a song I was trying to learn one day and I couldn't figure it out, and so I sent a message to Mike Blankenship in the Bay. I feel like if I say Mike Blankenship, you guys just know who he is. Like in the Bay, like everybody knows Mike Blankenship. But great keyboard player, fantastic keyboard player. Used to play with Lauryn Hill, Sheila E. Who's that guy's name? Michael Franti. And I was giving him these old weird chords and shit. He was like, man, they're triads. They're triads. You know? There's truth in the old saying, you know, you gotta crawl before you can walk. Walk before you can run. Okay, so did I just turn the page? Yes, I did. Okay, I'm really gonna stop here, guys. I'm really gonna stop here so I can go work out. So, as previously mentioned, you know, it's interesting. I'm sitting here reading. It's not interesting, but I'm sitting here reading, and I see all these challenges on IG. You know, the Bus It challenge and all that stuff. I'm like, is anybody gonna like make a read a book out loud challenge? Oh, that was cold-blooded. As previously mentioned, it is possible to play an inversion by keeping the root triad in your right hand and simply putting the other relevant note in the left hand. The third for a first inversion, the fifth for a second inversion. This type of true inversion, where the altered bass note is in the left hand, is designated in this book by a capital letter after a slash, and it is described in section 9. Yes, it is. Let's recap for a moment. In section 1, you have seen how to form major and minor triads in root position, how to turn them into first and second inversions, how to use inversions to make chord changing easier. It should also now be apparent that there are many ways of playing the simplest chords on a keyboard, and therefore different ways to play the same sequence. This will be a new concept for most guitarists, including bass guitarists, who tend to learn one or two effective shapes for major and minor and stick with those. How true. How true. They also don't bother much with inversions. Also true. On a keyboard, there are many alternative ways to finger a chord and blend them together. In section 1, we looked at hand shapes on the keyboard. The idea was to get you comfortable with playing simple triads, how to invert them, and how to go from one to another with the minimum hand movement. Having got to grips with those shapes, it's now time to mess about. This guy must be English. Having got to grips with those shapes, it's now time to mess about with them in pursuit of song ideas. So now my ears are perking up. I'm getting a little bit more intrigued. I really do not like this piano sound at all. At all. Not even in the little bit. I don't like that either. It's got no booty. Okay, got about to get distracted. About to get distracted. Okay, so C, triad, F major. Ooh, wait a minute. That is C, root position over here. F. F. 135 513. Oh, I see. C, F, G. I got where you're going with this. F. Oh, he's playing the root and the fifth in the bass. G major. G major, he's playing G, root fifth, third, fifth, root. Stop it. A minor. A minor playing root, root. worked through section 1 of this book. I went through section 1 of the book, and yeah. So even though I jumped on with you guys and went live, again, I started with an audit of the book, to see, is this going to take me in a direction where I want to go? Where do I want to go in terms of keyboards, right? One, I want to be more effective in my career as a music educator. So knowing how to face this instrument functionally is an asset for me. So I want to continue to do that, right? I want to be able to approach songwriting from a keyboard perspective. So being able to navigate through basic chord progressions is important for me. So my job, I'd be singing kids songs and stuff. So I don't have an accompanist. So I was in a Zoom meeting with music educators around New Orleans, and there's a veteran educator here. His name's Jonathan Bloom, and he said something that was really, really fascinating. He's an older guy. He was saying that in the New Orleans public school system, when he was coming up, you could not get a job as a teacher, not as a music teacher. You couldn't get a job as a teacher unless you played piano. Think about that. He was saying that in his school, there were 25 different piano players. They taught math, history, science, but everybody played piano. So he said you got general music in every class, right? What a time that was. Even when I was a little kid in New Orleans, you could go to any drugstore and buy manuscript paper. The times have changed, man. The times have changed. So yeah, being effective in my job, playing simple, not simple to more advanced chord progressions from a songwriting perspective, and also continuing to be a better communicator musically. When you know the keyboard, when you understand, you can just communicate, and people can communicate with you so much more easily when you have the understanding. So, audited the book, got through that's section 1. So section 2, I'll just sit down and the next time I sit down with this book actually for real and I'm not live streaming, I'll put on a timer, okay? I got, how long does it take me to drink my coffee? Okay, let's put 10 minutes on the timer, and then we may read the first paragraph, right? And then put, how long will it take to read the first paragraph, right? Read it and understand it, maybe a couple of minutes. And then set a timer for playing through this page. Not just playing through it, but understanding what's on the page, right? And then you put it aside, and then you come back to it the next day or the next practice session or whatever. So there's a practice idea for it. Nakia Russell, does she teach here in the city? That name sounds familiar. Does she teach in New Orleans? Oh, she does teach in New Orleans. I think. Yeah, she must teach here in New Orleans. Got a radio show on. I wonder if she works at. I shouldn't put her business out there. I wonder if she knew my boy Doc Lovett. Doc Lovett. I want to shout Doc out. Doc Lovett, unfortunately was a guitar player, really good dude. One of the first guys to give me a steady gig when I came back to New Orleans. He just passed on the 6th. it wasn't COVID, but I think he had a heart attack. I think. But he lives across the street. He lives down in the Musician Village in the 9th Ward. So anyway, I gotta run, guys. I gotta run. Get this workout in and get the day started. Get these old bones working. So yeah, Shelton, I'm gonna check my email and when I'm done with my workout. Okay. All right, fam. Always good to see y'all. Always good to see you. I will catch you in the next video. Peace. 2 fingers.